Hi guys, it's Monday. That means making food Monday. Yay! Welcome back if you have seen my other videos, and if you're new, hello. Today I'm going to make Mongolian beef. I actually read that Mongolian beef is an Americanized Chinese dish, so I actually know this time that I'm making an Americanized version of an international food. Last week I sort of had a little hang up where I thought I was making Swedish meatballs, and turns out I was making Americanized Swedish meatballs. Sorry about that to all you Swedish people. Anyways, today I realized that I'm making an Americanized version of Mongolian beef, but I'm gonna do it anyways because the kids have never tasted it, and Mongolian beef is actually one of Daddy's favorite foods, so we're gonna see if they like it. Okay, so for today's recipe, I've got some beef, I've got some cornstarch, I've got olive oil, I've got soy sauce, I've got garlic, I've got ginger that I'm going to mince very small, and I've got some brown sugar. I've also got on the side an onion that I am planning to saute on the side because this recipe does not call for onion. However, I like onion in my Mongolian beef, so I'm gonna make the beef in the cooker. I'm going to saute the onions on the side, and I've already got some rice going over there. Now, it is possible to do rice inside the pressure cooker while you're making the beef. I've just chosen not to because it kind of complicates things for me, and that was much easier. So I just put that on earlier today. The rice is ready to go. I'll saute the onions in a little bit, and I'm gonna do the Mongolian beef for you guys right now. So the first thing I've got to do is open my beef and get these strips cut to 1/4 of an inch. So basically, take what I already have, which is stripped nice and thin. You can see how thin that is there. Nice thin slices. I'm going to take those and make them into strips. Okay, I've got my meat cut into strips, approximately an inch. They're nice and thin. The next thing from my recipe to do is to add some, haha, I did it again. I forgot to turn on my pot. You gotta plug it in, guys. Every week I forget that. You gotta plug it in. Okay, and then I'm gonna put it on Sear roast, and that's gonna turn on my saute function that's inside my pan, or my pot here. So I've got my Sear roast on. I'm gonna go ahead and start it. I'm going to add approximately 2 tablespoons of olive oil to the bottom. There we go. You can measure if you want. I don't measure anything if I don't have to. I don't know if that makes me lazy or inventive. Okay, so what you have to do is toss your meat in here into the oil and let it sizzle. You want to cook it just barely so that it still has some cooking to do inside. But it says in the recipe not to crowd your meat, so you just want to put a little bit in there at a time and then rotate. So you take this out and put a different batch in until all of your meat is cooked. Okay, when you get it sizzling pretty good in there, I'm just going to start turning these pieces over. So you want to take that out and set it aside and get your next batch in, and keep going until you get all of your, oh, that's popping on me. Get all of your meat fried. I'm just going to kind of toss it in now though, because I'm not very careful. You can be as careful as you want. I'm just not going to because I'm kind of in a hurry. Okay, now I need to add 4 cloves of garlic, which is 2 teaspoons if you have a jar like this. 2 teaspoons of minced garlic to the pot. Ooh, we need to saute that up. Now I'm going to add my 1/2 cup of soy sauce right to my garlic that's in the pan here. Hope we have a minute. I turned off the pot, by the way. It was on the sear function. I actually turned that off when I was done sauteing my garlic. Okay guys, 1/2 cup of soy sauce, which is almost my whole bottle. 1/2 cup of water. Now my recipe calls for 2/3 cup of brown sugar. Okay, so 1/3, 2/3 cup. Okay, and then I'm just gonna mix that up. This is gonna make our Mongolian beef sauce, which is the best part. Next, my recipe calls for fresh ginger. Now you can get this in the produce section of your store. If you've never seen fresh ginger, it's a weird looking little root. Usually it comes in big pieces. This is just a teeny tiny one. Yeah, so it's really easy to use and it's super yummy. It's fresh ginger. So all you do is you cut the end of it off because it's like dry on the end. So you cut that off and then you cut the size that you think you're gonna need. In this case, I need about half a teaspoon. So I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna cut the edges or the skin part off. My knife skills are atrocious, I'm aware of that. Okay, so once I get my little piece with the skin off of it, I just kind of mince it, dice it, cut it in small pieces, however you want to say it. Because nobody wants a big piece of ginger in their food. That would not be tasty. Although, the flavor that ginger adds is quite tasty. So, it's kind of that delicate balance of you don't want it in your food, but you want it in your food. Turns out I made too much ginger. So I'm just gonna fill my little teaspoon here, halfway, approximately halfway. I've got too much, that's okay. I'm gonna toss that in there. Ginger is super cheap, so it's okay if you get too much and end up wasting a little bit. Thankfully it wasn't very much. Okay, I've got that in there. Now what's next? Now that I've got all the stuff in there for my sauce, I'm gonna take my bowl of beef that I've already seared. Remember, I already seared it. I forgot to mention that you're supposed to salt and pepper this. The reason I forgot to mention it was because I forgot to do it. So make sure you salt and pepper your beef while you're cooking it. I salt and peppered it after, that's okay. I'm gonna add the beef back along with any juices that have accumulated in there, because that's the yumminess. Get all that back in there. I think I'll give that a little stir, make sure everything kind of gets coated with our sauce in there. Now this sauce shouldn't be terribly thick, so I'm not worried about it not building pressure. Last week we had an issue of building pressure. This week I don't think we'll have that issue because there's plenty of moisture in there. So what we gotta do now is seal our pot. Throw our lid on. Give it a push. Turn it so the lock and the arrow meet. And turn it on. So I'm going to go to my chicken, time cook, bring that down to 12 minutes. Oops, 12, not 11. There we go. And push start. And then in 12 minutes we should have some beef. We're gonna take that pressure off of there as soon as our time is finished. So we are not gonna let the pressure come down naturally. When it's done, we will take it out and hopefully we'll have something yummy for dinner. Okay guys, my timer just went off. It's time to let that out. I've got my assistant over here turning our rice into fried rice the cheating way, just following the recipe. It's very easy. You can pick this up at the store. I'm not even going to show you that process because you just make it with this. Anyway, it's just white rice with that, follow the recipe on the back of that. Yeah, but let's get the pressure off of this and get our cornstarch mixed in so we can mix up our gravy. Okay, remember I'm going to take the pressure off of this. Just about got it. There we go. Perfect timing. Okay, so now I'm going to mix up my 2 tablespoons of cornstarch with 3 tablespoons of water and then mix that up really good. There's 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and 2. Okay, now I've added 3 tablespoons of water and I'm just going to mix that up. Now let's get this opened up and see what's going on inside. Ooh, that looks yummy.
What's inside?
What's inside? Yumminess is what's inside. Okay, now we're gonna add our cornstarch mixture to it and mix it up. So this is what's going to thicken our gravy so that we have a nice thick gravy for our Mongolian beef. Okay guys, next thing I need to do is turn that off. I need to turn it back onto sear roast. I need to bring this mixture to a boil, stirring constantly so that my gravy will thicken. So when this boils, we should have nice thick gravy for our Mongolian beef. It is now starting to boil and it is thickening. Yay! I may not have messed this one up, guys. Woohoo! My guinea pig says it smells good in here. That's awesome. Okay, I think I'm ready to turn this off, guys. I've got it thickened. I'm good to go. So, you can stop now. Thank you. Maybe I should keep stirring that till it cools off a bit. Okay, so this is the point where you would normally add the green onion, but we don't care for green onion, so I went ahead and sauteed one large white onion. It's just sauteed, nothing fancy, some salt and pepper with olive oil. I would normally add this to the pot right now, but since I have some children that don't like onions, this is just a little tip. Keep it to the side, add it to the plates that want it, and keep it out of the ones that don't. That way you kind of avoid a little bit of that, I don't like it. Maybe I'm the only mom that has to deal with that. Nope. I know there has to be other moms out there that are dealing with picky kids. So, if you don't want onions in it, keep it on the side. Okay, we've got our rice ready. I'm gonna plop that on a plate upside down, give it a tap. Just shake it, there we go. Got it out. Take that over to our pot. Grab some of this deliciousness and plop it on top. This smells really good. I hope it tastes as good as it smells. Okay, now this is Daddy's plate, so I loaded it up a little bit more. And I'm gonna throw some onions on it for him. Pardon the hand, Dad. There we go.
That's good onion.
Good deal. Yummy. Guinea pigs!
Yay!
Okay, guinea pigs. Who's up first today?
Me.
Ooh, how about we do it at the same time? Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, taste.
Ah.
Okay, Nano goes first. I heard, I think 1 or 2 mms. What do we think? Is it good?
It's pretty good.
Mia, what do you think?
Yum.
Yum. She's too busy to talk. That must mean it's tasty. It's so good that she doesn't want to stop eating it, and that means it's yummy. What do you think of that meat, Mia? Is that meat good? Do you give it a thumbs up or what? What's the matter? Are you chewing? 2 from Nano. Yes.
Nope.
10 from Nano. 20, 30, 40, 50. 50 from Nano. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 from Mia? Yes! The big guinea pig's turn. Let's see if the recipe I found is anything like what you actually like to eat.
Wow, the steak is super tender.
Ah, yay.
And it's sweet.
So it's not quite the same as we're used to.
Well, the difference is the one that we eat is spicy.
Good point. That's true, there's nothing spicy in this one. So
Definitely
this is a very
chili.
mild version of Mongolian beef.
But it's really good. It's very tasty. I like it a lot. I would definitely eat this again.
What?
That's hot.
You got chicken nuggets with your rice?
Did you?
Is it hot? Did you blow it?
to Mongolia? Yeah.
How many thumbs do you give it, Dad?
For the kids.
Okay, I had a message for you, by the way. Willie says you need to stop wearing that sweatshirt because you wear it every day.
I like it.
It's springtime. Ditch the sweatshirt, Dad.
Yeah, but it's also
40. I don't want to hear it. Today's spring. It's springtime today. Happy spring, by the way, guys. Woo! Today's the first day of spring, so you have to stop wearing your sweatshirt now.
Spring break.
Look, Willie. I think you probably like it and you want it, okay?
Yeah, he wants to take it from you. So I was afraid that by making this Mongolian beef, first of all, I've never made Mongolian beef, but I was afraid that by making this Mongolian beef myself, that it wouldn't be as tender as you get it in the restaurant. But this beef is super, super tender, just like what you get at the Chinese restaurant. So I would say that making it in the pressure cooker maybe is not easier. It does make it a little bit more difficult to make it, but putting it under pressure really, really tenderized that meat. And it is really tasty. Some way I'm gonna have to find a way to add some spice to it after the fact because the kids don't like spicy, but Daddy and I do. But for this, for today, It's a really good mild version of Mongolian beef, and it's super tender. So yes, I recommend putting it in the pressure cooker, even though it might be a step further than cooking it just on the stove. So, how was dinner?
Delicious.
Did you like it? Was Mongolian beef a yummy dinner?
Yes.
Should we make it again sometime?
Yes. Okay, you get me. Just the rice.
You didn't like the beef part?
I loved the whole thing.
See, Malia ate her beef, so it's not that she didn't like it, it's that she would prefer to have just rice, right?
I mean, the rice was okay with though.
See, these two couldn't be more different. He liked the beef more than the rice, and she liked the rice more than the beef. I think this was a pretty good all-around dinner that everybody liked a little bit of.
Yeah.
And it was cool that we could put the onions on the side so Mom and Dad could still have them, and you guys didn't have to.
Yay!
That was pretty cool.
And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Just share it to friends. And now, good night, YouTube. See you tomorrow. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe now. Please subscribe. You're like, hee-hoo, hee-hoo.